Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Kampala Design Podcast, your safe space for design related conversations in Uganda and beyond. I'm your host, Charles Bossa, and today we are going to lean into a very important topic and yet sometimes uncomfortable in certain spaces. We have had a lot of designers tweet, vent, and even shout about it. The reasons why UX design in Uganda is adopting painfully slow. If you're a designer listening in, I know you have felt it before. The struggle of explaining your value to your people, the countless stares in meetings, the resistance to putting users first. You are not alone. We are always falling into the same problems. But we hope that the conversations you're going to be having here on the Kampala Design Podcast, which actually is supposed to be a safe space, will be beneficial to you. They will make your journey a little bit smooth. You'll get a number of tips on how to explain yourself, on how to be a confident designer, and on how to be able to market yourself in a way that can easily be seen by people that actually make decisions in organizations. So, without wasting a lot of time, let us go into the main purpose of this video. The number one hindrance to the adoption of UX design in the Ugandan market is the lack of awareness, especially at leadership levels at the top. We have a number of companies, government institutions, and startups where decision makers up there have not yet understood what the value of UX actually is. People such as IT managers, CEOs, and even head of marketing departments, they tend to look at design as something supposed to make their products look good, look beautiful in the eyes of their clients. But this undermines the fact that the real foundation of design is actually the experience. So the result in this is products that are put into the market. They actually look good in the eyes of the people that have made them, but they are not functionally right. So in the end, people don't use them, and these people wonder why this is so. The second one is outsourcing without a local context. We have a number of organizations, especially those that are handling multitudes of data, those that are handling a bigger percentage of our population, utility companies, again, government institutions, that tend to outsource a lot of software related projects to companies, especially outside the country. Now, I am not against outsourcing, but there are certain aspects of these projects that I think would be not good. It will not be in the advantage of the organization to outsource them, because one, the data that is required for these companies to provide localized solutions is sensitive data, so they're not going to give it to them. But also, these companies are just in there to deliver products at the shortest time and probably, let's say, the most, let's say, the cheapest, at the cheapest price. So they are not going to look at putting in more money into coming to Uganda to do user research. They are going to benchmark on products they've built before and just give you a generic product, or they give you a product that has worked in a different country, thinking that it will be able to also work here. So outsourcing is good, but there are certain aspects of the organization that shouldn't be outsourced. Try and build some internal capacity and do things the right way. Designers, researchers, are there for a reason, and that reason is to ensure that you build real products for real people that are going to use those products. And it would be very good if those designers are locally available. And if they are locally available, which I believe they are, you are going to get real products, real experiences, and real problems solved. The other thing is UX seems to be looked at as a luxury rather than a need when they are, producing these products. Take an example of an organization that is probably at startup level. They've gotten funding. They've given timelines to investors on what exactly they're going to do, the roadmap to launch. So they are going to concentrate mostly on the MVP, okay, with total disregard to what users actually want. They'll think that by looking at the overall problem through the pitch deck that they put out there to the investors, that is enough for them to win over the market. What is going to result in this is products are going to be launched, but there's going to be a lot of frustration from the early adopters, which will strain the company more as it tries as much as it can to handle complaints through its complaints department. Uh, and as a result of that, they'll then try to bring in a few designers to create a few screens, again with total disregard of what the market actually needs. So we need to change our mindset on design in Uganda. It is not necessarily a luxury. It is something that is supposed to be embedded in the product development processes of your organization in order to build functional products. Number 4, we have a limited pool of talent of UX designers and also mentorships. Because we do not have very many designers in organizations, those that are trying to get into organizations face a lot of resistance. Reason being, there isn't anyone internally to advocate for their importance in the organizations. Okay, and also we do not have enough mentors for those that are able to step into the job market and actually get jobs. So they tend to work in isolation in most of these organizations because, one, there isn't anyone in there that understands what they do, including the development team. And these designers, in most cases, are entry level designers, so they are not well uh, experienced to communicate exactly what they do and the impact that it is supposed to provide to these, to the development team, to the stakeholders above, because in any way they may not even be in contact with them in the day-to-day activities in the organization. And when companies don't see a lot of available talent, they tend to deduce that UX design indeed is not that important in internal processes of their organization, which is totally wrong. The last point, which is really, really, really stressful, is resistance to change from people within the organizations. You will find that especially government institutions have people that have worked there for uh, close to 20, 30 years, and they've had a certain way of doing things in a traditional manner. So if a new designer comes into the organization and they are willing to implement certain changes and adopt a new style of working, that is the adoption of a design-led probably strategy, they are going to be met with a lot of resistance from these people because, one, they see it as an attack to their job security, but also they don't want to, in their eyes, disrupt something that already works for them. So it takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of emotional intelligence, it takes a lot of bravery for whoever leads those departments to convince the old guard that the new way of doing things is actually the right way and it is the way that is supposed to be followed. So, where do we go from here? First off, it's the education. We need to embrace podcasts such as the Kampala Design Podcast. We need to embrace workshops. We need to embrace talks because it is in those spaces that we communicate at length the value of what UX is supposed to bring to the table. Secondly, it's about being able to build internal champions in different organizations that are able to advocate for UX design in organizations and are able to put in the word to those in positions of power and explain exactly what UX design is and how impactful it can be to the organization. And thirdly, it's about community. We have to create safe spaces where designers, developers, and business people are able to meet up and learn from each other and empathize with each other's areas of specialty. It is in these spaces that we are going to be able to understand each other, and it's still in these spaces that design will be communicated to people that it matters most to. I understand that we are playing the long game, but I also know that the seeds we plant today will be able to yield fruit and grow the tech industry in Uganda and beyond. Thanks for listening in today. If you found this valuable, I would advise you to subscribe to this YouTube channel because it helps us to provide you with more beautiful content, more entertaining and educative content. We have quite a lot of things lined up in the pipeline, and it's going to be your support in terms of joining our community that will help us to be able to bring this content to you. So thank you so much and see you in the next video.